Kamairicha is a rare pan-fired green tea from Japan. If prepared right, it can be a wonderful, warming green tea with a complex taste profile. In this video, we're going to walk you through how to prepare this tea and what to look for in the taste. Before we get started, it would really mean a lot to us if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for future tea videos. We have hundreds of videos on topics ranging from tea cultivation to tea preparation. For this video, we're going to focus on Kamairicha specifically. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to be learning how to prepare Kamairicha. So right here we have the Kamairicha Issin, and this is a tea made by Mr. Issin in Takachiho, which is a small town in Miyazaki Prefecture. And as you can see by this picture here, it's actually a pan-roasted tea. So it's common for Chinese green teas to be pan-roasted, but very rare for Japanese green teas to be pan-roasted. So this makes this a very unique tea in terms of Japanese green teas. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this first, so I can show you. You'll notice by the leaf shape that it takes on more of these curled shapes, and this is as a result of the pan firing process. So as this tea is rolled in a large metal pan and turned over heat, it takes on these more curled shapes that you can see here. So this doesn't have much influence on the tea itself. It's just indicative of how the tea was processed. So I have my black Kyushu here. So this is the one with the built-in clay filter. I'm just going to pour in about 5 grams. Again, if you have a scale, it's helpful, but you know, it's nice sometimes just to be able to measure it out just by looking at it, kind of eyeballing it as you get more used to it, because you know it's kind of a pain to have to measure it every day. So yeah, you see the leaves just kind of coat the bottom of the teapot here. It's not a whole lot that I'm using. And what I'm going to be using is 70 degrees Celsius water. So normally I use 60 for gyokuro and sencha, but for Kamairicha I'm going to be using a little bit hotter water here because I like to bring out some of the warmer characteristics of the tea. And I'm going to brew this for 1 minute. So Kamairicha is a partially roasted tea, which makes it different from hojicha and sencha. Hojicha is a fully roasted tea, sencha is an unroasted tea, and it kind of balances the best of both worlds in my opinion. So it kind of has some of the warmer characteristics of a hojicha while also having some of the more fresher vegetal characteristics, even some of these seaweedy characteristics of a sencha or an unroasted tea. So I kind of like this balance between the two, and 70 degrees Celsius seems to be the perfect temperature to kind of get both of those flavors working together. So give this 10 seconds more, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour it out. So nothing too special with the color here. It does seem to have a bit of a glow to it. I'm not really sure why, but I always notice with Kamairicha that there's kind of like this almost luminescent quality to the color. So that's kind of cool. What I would encourage you to do is actually kind of get the aroma off of the wet leaves, particularly with this tea. So yeah, I'm getting... What I've gotten before on these leaves is almost like those nori sheets that you use for sushi. It's got a little bit of this seaweedy quality to it, actually. And I'm getting almost like, from this one, I'm getting almost like cooked fruit, actually. Kind of like these roasted nuts, kind of cooked fruit. Definitely these warmer characteristics coming off of the leaves, but you still get some of the, you know, the typical kind of seaweedy, steamed vegetable aromas from the leaves. This is really good. This was perfectly brewed, I have to say. The temperature, the warmer temperature really worked in this case. Yeah, it's definitely, as I said before, it's got this balance between these warmer kind of toasted almonds, cashew nuts, and also this a little bit more vegetal, a little bit more um, citrusy flavor profiles. So when you're tasting these teas, kind of think about what vegetal taste characteristics you notice and what warmer taste characteristics you notice, and see how you can kind of separate the two of them. Because these things like, toasted almonds, cashews, these are things we typically associate, even a little bit of caramel, things we typically associate with roasted tea like a hojicha, and then things like, citrus, spring grass, steamed vegetables, seaweed. These are things that we associate with more sencha or unroasted teas. You definitely get both here, and from sip to sip, it kind of trades off with some of the warmer characteristics being more dominant to some of the fresher, more citrusy characteristics being more dominant. It's definitely a unique tea with a lot of different layers to it. I'm going to go ahead and brew this a second time. We're only going to use 20 seconds for the second brewing. As you can see here, the leaves are really opening up nicely. So the first steeping is longer because you need to open up the leaves when they're tightly rolled, but then later steepings, they're already opened up, so you only need like 20 seconds or so. Let's go ahead and watch these leaves kind of moving around here. Very nice. You see the second infusion is actually cloudier. You have like a pretty clear, translucent here, and then it's translucent to almost opaque in the second brewing. So you can kind of barely see my finger through it. The second brewing is much more interesting, actually. It's stronger on these warmer flavor profiles. The warmer flavor profiles come in and kind of dominate the taste of the tea. It almost gets a little bit smoky. I'm kind of getting this, I don't know if it's a taste or more of an aroma, but it's kind of like burning coals, like a campfire almost. Definitely more of this, not this kind of sweet, cashews, almonds. It's more of a rugged kind of wild campfire type of aroma. I'm getting a little bit of the seaweedy flavors towards the end. Go ahead and check out the leaves here. Yeah, the leaves are definitely picking up more of these steamed vegetable aromas. So it's interesting. The warmer flavor profiles really dominate the second brewing here. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. See if the flavor continues in the third brewing. Basically just a repeat of the second brewing. We're doing 20 seconds here, just to kind of get whatever flavors left. So I'm not sure why the second brewing was so cloudy, but this one seems to be getting clearer actually. You do see some particulates in there, but the overall color is probably less cloudy. So I would say that the warmer tasting characteristics really pick up in the second brewing, and then they kind of subside in the third brewing. The third brewing is a little bit more playing off of this acidity, a little bit more of these citrusy flavors, a little more minerality. So very different from the other two. So it's interesting to see how this tea evolves from the first to the second to the third brewing. The first brewing was definitely the sweetest. It had some of these, toasted almonds, toasted cashews playing around, but also a little bit of the seaweed taste characteristics and, some steamed vegetable. The second brewing was really strong, as this one right here, really strong on these kind of campfire, kind of really smoky sort of tastes and aromas. And then the second brewing is playing off more of this kind of citrusy astringency without that much of this kind of warmer taste characteristic. So I hope you found this little brewing guide helpful. It was good that we were able to taste this together so you kind of know what to look out for when you're drinking this tea. If you want to pick it up, you can find this on our website. It's the Kamairicha Issin. And if you want to learn more about it, I'm sure we have tons of videos on YouTube where you can do just that. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And until then, we'll see you next time.